Well, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Yes, it is. Some may say not. It's highly overcast and 84 degrees. And it's dead calm. You know, sort of like dead calm before the storm. And yes, we do have a storm coming. Yep, there seems to be a hurricane forming in the Gulf, heading to the Louisiana coast. And it may even turn this way. That'll make life interesting in the coming days, as if it hasn't been interesting enough. Yep, it is a wonderful day in Mr. Tom's neighborhood. Oh, is that Cleo coming along? I think it is. Cleo, good to see you. I didn't see you for breakfast or lunch. Glad you showed up now. Once you seen Papa Tom on the front porch. Where's your other two cohorts? Speedy and Spooky. Are they still out playing? I think they are. Well, as you can see, Cleo's here with me, and I'm sure the other two are not far behind. Well, Cleo, I guess we'll have to have a talk about the events of day 3 of our radiation treatments for prostate cancer that we had yesterday. Do you want to hear and talk about it too? Oh, well, hello there, friends and family. Didn't see you walking up. No, yep. Here comes Speedy and Spooky, lingering behind. They must have heard Papa out here talking with all of you. But I'm so glad you came and sit a spell here in Mr. Tom's neighborhood. Yeah, as you might have heard, I'm out here again on the front porch. And as many of you may know, and some who just dropped in may not, I've been going through treatments for prostate cancer. And we finally started last week our radiation treatments, which should be the final course of action to rid us of cancer. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, it was last week on a Wednesday that I had my very first treatment, and that went just fine. Then on Thursday, I had my second treatment, and that was a struggle to get through because you have to fill up your bladder so full I could barely hold it all in. Well, yesterday, I get up, do the same old routine, shower and shave and get all gussied up, and hit the road to make the drive into the capital city, Montgomery, Alabama, that is. And before I go, I chug down 2 full bottles of water. That's what they say you got to do an hour before the treatment to fill up your bladder. And what that does is it lifts your bladder up off your prostate and expands the bladder so less tissue is exposed to the radiation beam, all of which is good. But I struggled to hold it all in on Tuesday, and as I got there, went into the waiting room, I wasn't having that much difficulty. I was holding it all in. Got back in the treatment room. Of course, you got to get undressed from the waist down. And then I was sitting there waiting on them to start, in the treatment room where the machine is kept. And that there urgency came around with a vengeance. So they finally came back to put me on the machine, got me up on it. And this was now around, my appointment was at 12:30, and this was probably around 1:30. And that, because here again, they put me up on the machine, checked to see if my bladder was totally full, and they said it had a way to go. So they had to take me back off, sit me down, give me some more water, even though my stomach was sloshing with the water I'd already consumed. But unfortunately, it wasn't in my bladder. And all the time, I'm fighting this urgency to go. Yes, I was. Well, they finally came back in 30 minutes. And I was having to do all kinds of things. Get up and walk, bend over, whatever I could do to fight that urge. They get me on the machine, get me lifted up, start positioning me. And I just couldn't make it. My fear was it was leaking out. So I had to let them know right away I need to get down and go to the bathroom, which I did. So there, after all that time of getting ready, trying to hold it all in, my body failed me. Or maybe it was my mind over my body that failed me. I just couldn't hold it in, and I talked to him about possibly having a UTI, because as many of you know, I fought that from the time I got the biopsy for several weeks afterwards, and have already had 2 courses of antibiotics to try to get rid of it. So they decided to do a urine analysis. Well, I called a little bit earlier before I came out here to talk to all of you, and the results came out negative. There was no blood, which is a good thing. That's a real good thing, since the beam does pass through your bladder. There were no antibiotics, anything out of the normal. So, that doesn't explain my urgency to go. So something's got to change, because I didn't get my radiation treatment yesterday. Since I couldn't hold it in and keep my bladder full, they said I'd have to come back tomorrow. See, today's Tuesday, the 10th. I was supposed to have my 3rd yesterday. On the 9th, skip today, get my 4th on the 11th, Wednesday. And then possibly go back in if there were no complications and finalize on the 12th, or maybe on the following Monday, seeing how all things went. So as you might understand, when I left there around 2:30, I was really frustrated. Not at them. They do all they can. I mean, what more can they do? It's up to me now. I was very frustrated and disappointed in myself. And I tried really, really hard. And the reason I had them get me down was because I could feel it starting to leak down. And that's rather graphic, but I want you to know, for any of you men that may be going through this in the coming years, this is what you're faced with. This is the reality. And some, like in comments on the last one, may make smart and rude remarks. You know, how hard can it be? You know, toddlers do it. Why can't you? Well, you just didn't have to walk in my shoes and had the life that I've led. Many have just asked why I couldn't have it removed to begin with, which was what I was hoping would be the cure. But the surgeon said I was not a candidate for removal based on other reconstructive surgeries I'd had in that area all the way up through my abdomen into my chest. And that goes back to a long, long story, a long, long time ago. So I was never a candidate for surgical removal, which was my first hope. And see, the second option, and really the only one left, is this radiation therapy. So I have to find a way to calm the urge when my bladder's full. And hey, I think I might have found something that'll help me. I meant to bring it out. Let me go get it. And I'll show it to you in case you're going through this, or maybe going through it in the future too. Because sadly, for most men, if you live long enough, you'll be sitting here too. Hold on 1 minute. I'll be right back. So, in doing some late night research last night, I found this. It's called Ureastat Ultra with cranberry. UTI pain relief tablets. Highest dose without prescription. Fast temporary relief of urinary pain, burning, and urgency. #1 doctor recommended. So we're going to give it a try and see. If you've used this before, let me know in the comments below the video. Did it work for you? Because I'm hoping it works for me. So we began taking this. We'll continue to take it right up till we go tomorrow. And hopefully it helps with that urgency to let it all go. So yeah, that's what I went and got. I ran out and picked that up. And I'm on it now. I figure earlier the better. And we'll have to see how it all goes. Because in talking with a close friend of mine last night, who always wishes me well and tries to help. Yeah, you see, you can't expect a different outcome unless something changes. Now I know they said we'd come back and try Thursday and hopefully it all goes better. No, hope is not about change. Hope is a state of mind. So in my mind, I had to find something, if anything was out there, that I could buy or get that would help me not have to go. And you probably heard more about going in your lifetime if you've been watching these videos as I have living through it. I never would have thought that I'd be sitting here someday in the future talking about all this. Who knew that this too will become a part of Mr. Tom's Neighborhood? But that's life, and that's what this channel is pretty much about. So yeah, that's how my third day of radiation treatment went. It was a total bust and a failure on my part. I can't blame anyone. But when I do get there tomorrow, hopefully I will get through it some way. You see there again, there's that hopefully. And I pray I will. But hope's a state of mind. It's not a fact. It's not a cure. But it's good to remain positive, because that can only help. But hey, the kiddies are wanting some treats. They're all sort of milling around. And that, when I brought out that Eurostat, they thought it was treats in the colorful box. So they're a little disappointed. But hey, until I see you on that next video and episode of Mr. Tom's Neighborhood, hopefully we'll have better news. And we'll share some better thoughts. And maybe this storm will spare us all in the coming days. So y'all take care out there. Stay safe. May God bless you all as you bless those in your lives. You know we love you for being here too, and all you do to make our lives better, as we hope we do yours too. Yep, I never thought I'd be a poet as well. And I'm not. I'm just a little old man trying to get through life the best he can. With that said, I'm going to run and grab some treats before the kitty crew all attacks. Goodbye for now, till we see you on the next episode. Spooky, you all tuckered out from a long day of battling with the squirrels? Yep, it's a tough life you lead. Cleo, what do you see over there? Is that squirrel over there playing in Mrs. Davis's yard? And of course we got Speedy over there cleaning up for dinner. As you can see, all three are there. And I'm sure my little princess of the house, Gracie, is waiting patiently in the kitchen for her supper time too. So yeah, we got a storm coming in so many ways.